Welcome back to Hot Chocolate and a Marshmallow. I'm so glad to be back. So glad to be ready to talk to you guys. Lots been going on. It is 5 o'clock somewhere. Yeah. And I'm glad that you're taking the time to spend and chat with me for a little bit today. I hope that you all have been doing well in this time that I haven't been recording. And I hope that some things have been moving along in your favor, that you are finding strength day to day, and continuing to move in your journey of self discovery and self love. Today, I'm going to talk a little bit about the weekend. This weekend has been chill. Friday was good. Saturday was good. Sunday today, or yeah, today Sunday's been good. Um, Yesterday, last night, we had a storm, and one of the nastiest storms that I've seen so far, at least where I'm living now, and it was not pretty. And like, there's a creek that runs below about 15 feet. Is the bank from my patio, and I could see the water like at the top of the bank last night. That's how bad it stormed. And and there's wildlife and plant life that are down there, and all of that was completely knocked over. That's just how bad the storm was last night. However, I got to thinking about certain things, and this has led me to today's conversation with you. I got to thinking about some things and got to thinking about, how this morning when I was sitting outside, just taking some time to myself, how, like, before, just, right before the storm, um, the greenery was, they were standing. The squirrels and the birds had their home. Everything was fine. It was peaceful in the land of, the little wooded area back there. And then out of the blue comes destruction. like like unplanned, unwarranted destruction. And it's crazy because I sat there and I had walked over to the bank this morning while I was outside, and with my dog and whatnot. And I walked over to the bank and I counted how many steps it took, and it was roughly about 15 feet to the bank, and everything was just folded over. I forget what kind of plant it stands down there in there, but everything was just completely folded over and swept in one direction, which was the direction that the creek flows. And I was just like, wow. Like, there's days that when you see the wind blow and you know that there's birds' nests up there, or there might be eggs in the nest, and the trees are blowing crazy, and yet, somehow their home is safe. Somehow they remain safe. And yet, the storm yesterday, last night, it came through and it destroyed. Water came through and water destroyed. And yet, I'm sure that all the animals who had homes and lived down there, and whatever else happens down there, like, I'm sure the only thing on their mind today was to rebuild. We gotta rebuild because we gotta sleep tonight. We gotta rebuild. Everything was wiped out, but I'm sure that their biggest and first thought that comes to their mind is we have to rebuild. And I think that is so important, and it just kind of hit me. you know our life is here, and things are good, and things can be going good, and things could be going great even though they're not going great. But we make it so that it is great even though the situation may not be great, just so we can get by. Survival mode. And then something happens, and it's like God says, nope, I'm going to bring in a storm. I'm going to wipe this all out. I'm going to give you the opportunity to rebuild. I'm going to give you the opportunity to put the pieces that you want and that you need in your life this time around. And I'm going to give you the opportunity to, go after your dreams, go after your goals, all of that. And I think it is so important. So it's crazy because the storms, a lot of people are scared of storms. And I don't think as a kid I was never afraid of the storms. I think that it was more so kind of intriguing because it's like, man, like all this crazy stuff happens around us, and yet we can remain safe in our homes most times, and obviously that's just, in a normal thunderstorm most cases. And there's storms that are way, way stronger than that cause complete and total utter destruction. And, but I think in the midst of, just daily life, like I think we have to look at it as, you know, we come with these storms, where the rain comes, the rain is going to wash away, the whatever, take away all the last bits of whatever's left that is not supposed to be in your life in that season. And when you look at and when I think about the plant life that's down there, and it's, living through the creek water and the creek basin there, like it's crazy because it was standing just the other day, and it comes and it's, end of summer, and this greenery is down there, this plant life is down there, and then all of a sudden it's here this for this season that it was there, and all of a sudden it's gone, and it's just like it just further explains this. So much is just there for a season, a time for us to learn, a time for us to glean from whatever situations come about, that we can move forward and we can take the time to make adjustments and make changes and do what is best for us in the moment that we are in. And I hope that along somewhere in your journey that you are able to recognize this, and you are able to say at some point, and it's not something that's going to happen right away, because for me this is a moment that's just happened for me, even though I've known that things are changing and things are irreversible. Now it's to the point where it's like, man, my mindset, I feel, is getting to another level now, another breakthrough level, where I'm beginning to understand that yes, everything that has happened is really just for a season. And everything that is coming, yes, there are things that are going to be for a season, but there are also things that are going to be for the remainder of my lifetime. And I have to be ready, so that way I can be accountable and I can be responsible when those things are given to me, when those blessings come. And I feel that if you cannot begin to recognize a lot of that, and begin to recognize the steps that are giving you, and even when you take those steps, begin to recognize the little intricate parts of those steps, because in between there's all the movement that you got, all the little things that you got to figure out how to do within each step that you take, and that helps you grow. And I think when you are able to pay attention to all of the little intricacies of the step that you're taking, that's where your breakthroughs are going to come through. That's where you're going to be able to say, dang, this happened over here. Now I realize that this is tied to that. And oh, okay, this all makes sense now. And I think that in those moments, those are the moments that I really like. And I feel like, man, as hard as that situation may have been, on a scale of mild to extreme, like it still teaches you a lesson that I can go through this storm and I'm still standing. I can go through this and I'm still standing. I can, something is going to hit me. I'm going to get bogged down with a wall of water, but somehow I'm still standing, because if I stay stuck in the step that God has given to me, and I don't try to shy away from or move away from what he's saying to me, I'm going to be okay. Just like all those animals out there, I don't know what in the world they was doing last night. They probably was trying to find somewhere else to go, but at the end of the day, they're going to go back. Either they're going to go back and rebuild, or they're going to find somewhere else new and rebuild. It doesn't matter, but you have to figure out what it is and what's going to work best for you in the moment and in the time that you realize that now I've been through this storm. I fought for myself. I'm still fighting for myself, but now I'm getting into this stage where I have to fight for myself on a different level. Now I'm going to fight for myself on the level of I'm going to be able to go out here and achieve my dreams and goals. Now I got to figure out what the steps are going to be that I'm going to have to take in order for me to achieve my dreams and goals. And now I need to understand that I need to hold myself responsible and accountable to do that. I hope that those who are coming up behind me, those who are rocking with me, and I want to hear from those who have already been there, done that. Let us know, chime in. Let me know how that's worked for you. Where are you at in that stage? For the ones that are coming up behind me, it's going to be a minute till you get to this part of the journey, but trust and believe that what you're going to go through is going to prepare you for when you get to this part of the journey, because everything else that happens before the blessings, you're not ever going to be able to handle that if you don't go through and understand what life is going to be out here to give you. And when you receive that blessing, like, you have to be able to like be prepared to handle the responsibility that's going to come with that blessing. So the journey itself is preparing you. It's how you're going to be able to grow, how you heal yourself, how you grow your strength in that, which is going to prepare you for everything that's going to come in the future. And it's layers and levels to that, because it's not an overnight success. And trust me, Jesus Lord, that's the one thing that I've always been. It's like, oh, if I'm supposed to live with purpose and I'm supposed to do X, Y, and Z, and I know this in my head and I can see it for me, and this is what the visions that God has given me, like, why isn't this stuff just happening? Why isn't it just, oh, okay, well, X, Y, and Z will happen and then this will happen. There are steps to the process, and I know, and it's hard. It's hard to have to sit in these feelings and in these stages, grief, denial, anger. It's hard to have to sit in all of those stages. I get it. I get it so bad. It's hard to feel loneliness at time, but at that moment you have to say, God separated me because he's got something better for me. You have to turn your mentality and your thinking and your thoughts around in order to get you through to the next stage. Because if you sit and you hold on and you fight for the things that you are no longer going to have, you're never going to be able to allow yourself to fight for yourself and for all the things that you deserve, and all the things that you deserve your inner child to get that they never had, because they never knew any different. This is your time. Your time to show your inner child that you got this, that you learned from the mistakes, and now what you're going to do is protect that person and show them every single thing that it was supposed to be, because you broke chains, you broke generational cycles, you took risk. The risks that were the risks that many people won't take, but you took the risk because you understood the assignment and the purpose on your life, and the legacy that you're going to leave behind you taking those risks. This is not going to be a long conversation today, because I just want you guys to understand that the struggle is real. The journey is real. The time that you feel that just takes forever and ever and ever is real. But you also have to understand that the person who has put you here, that has created you, that has destined you to be what he has destined you to be, when you look at the storms that they come, he created every single thing, and in a moment he could wipe it all out. What makes you think that what he has for you is not coming? What seems forever to us is just seconds to him. It took seconds for him to speak for that storm to come and create floods. It took seconds for the water to wash down the plants that were down there in the creek. Seconds is gone. But what you have to remember is the next season that they're supposed to be around, they will be around, because That is what they are commanded to do. They will come back to life, to their place where they are commanded to be. And you have to understand that as hard as the journey is, and I've learned it myself, and it feels so like, oh, why do you got to learn it the hard way? But listen, the hard way is the only way to learn all of this. The hard way is the only way to learn all of this. Because if you don't figure out how strong you are, or how resilient you are, or your ability to take in and take on, what people got to say about what they don't know, or, the jabs or the fiery darts that come at you because of people not knowing, if you don't figure that out, you're never going to get yourself to a place where you can be fully successful in your personal life and in your personal journey. You got to be able to find your strength to be fully 100% uniquely you. The one copy of you, you got to be 100% you. A real, raw version of you, the version that God intended you to be. You're supposed to be out here because whatever that version is of you, there's a purpose tied to it, and the world needs it. Whatever it is, the world needs it. So when I say that all of that to say the storms, for those that are coming up behind me, and even for those that are rocking with me in the journey, because I know we still going through storms from time to time here and there. The storms are going to come, but they come because there's stuff that needs to be wiped out for that season, because you gotta make room for the stuff that is coming in the next season. So I hope that you don't hold on to the things or the people or whatever it is, the situations, the jobs. It doesn't matter what it is. You gotta let that wipe out. Let it get wiped out in a storm if that's what God's purpose for you at that moment in that season, because that no longer has a purpose for you. And you have to understand that if it no longer serves you, it's time to move on, because there's something else that's going to serve, and you moving it towards your purpose. There's something else that's for you in that next season. That next season of life. And these seasons, just like we got what? Winter, spring, summer, fall. Our seasons in the personal journey, you could equate that to them, but they're not, not all of them are, 3 months apart. You might go through a season and it might be a couple of years. It might be a couple of weeks, depending on the type of situation that you're going through. But you have to understand that season, you have to fully ride the entire season out from beginning to end. And hopefully from that season has started from the beginning, coming out of whatever season that you were in, that you were learning and gleaning from the season previous. So that way, the season that you're going in, you're going to be able to show your strength to others and yourself about what you've learned and what you're able to do in this season, and what your seasons are going to look like moving forward as you find strength within. Listen, I need y'all to come and talk to me, because this journey is, where it once was daunting and hard and crazy and whatever. Like, this journey, I am now becoming more and more grateful for, because the ability to learn and the ability to see what God is actually doing in my life, and the possibilities of where I might land as far as the purpose goes on my life, and the legacy that I can leave for my kids and for my family. I just hope and I pray that other people are able to take the journey and rock out and just ride it out to the best of your ability. While sometimes it may seem so hard and sometimes it may seem so exhausting and so stressful, I need y'all to keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing. Because the race, you got to keep your legs going. Keep pushing until you get across that finish line. You have to keep going. It hurts. Yes, I get it. It hurts. All that leg, them muscle pains, but the you gotta keep pushing because everything behind you is what is propelling you forward. All of the lessons that you learn is what's propelling you forward to get to that finish line, to where you're supposed to be, your land of destiny, your land of purpose, your land of milk and honey. Listen, y'all, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. I'm glad I was able to hang out with you guys today. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day. If you would be so kind to like, share, subscribe so that you can know when the next episode of Hot Chocolate and a Marshmallow is on. I need you to also go ahead and bop some music, or just sit in quiet as you reflect on the fact of, listen, this is my time. I hope that somebody has picked up that this is your time. This is a new season of change. This is a new season of goal setting. This is your time. This is the time now that you are getting ready to step into the next season of life. And whatever it is, I hope that you rock it out. And whatever it is that you feel as though God is leading you towards in the step that the step that you're supposed to take, I pray that you take the risk. I pray that you take it, because if you would only trust the process and trust that God is following you through every single thing, He's watching you, He got you, He's leading you. You got to trust the process and trust that every single thing that is coming to you is due you, because you deserve it. You deserve it all. All right, people, listen, go enjoy the rest of your day. And I'm going to go enjoy the rest of my day. And I can't wait to talk to you guys again. You guys have a good day. Rock out. And I'll talk to you in a little bit. Back to Hot Chocolate and a Marshmallow. Peace out.